Hello everybody. Oh my god, there's a bee. It's okay, it's outside. It's quite warm for October in Melbourne. It's about 27 degrees today, which is lovely, but warm because I've been cooking. I've got to show you what I made. So today I made some roast potatoes, and they look a little bit, but they're quite like crispy. They're really nice. I may have forgotten about them in the oven for a few moments, but these are to snack on during the week instead of like buying actual potato chips, something like that. And then these are our lunches for the week, which is sweet potato and carrot soup. They're just cooling down before I put them in the fridge. And the other thing that we got, these bad boys. We didn't get them, I made them. They're actually healthy chocolate bars. Look at that. So they're just literally dark chocolate rice bubbles, which you can see in the background, and peanut butter. But you can use any nut butter for them. And then I've just put a peanut butter granola on top. They're actually so good. They taste, honestly, amazing. Okay, I'm gonna put you there. Oh, I've got plants in the background. I kind of like them. Should we leave them? I'm gonna leave them. So I wanted to have a chat to you guys today about something a little different for me, which is my skin. This is something that so many people are into at the moment, and I know on Instagram, follow me in the link below, so many people, like, I've posted things about my skin before, and there are so many people who want to give advice and have experience with their own kind of situations. I just thought I would come sit down and give you a bit more in-depth detail into my skin story. I'm not giving advice. This is just what I do. Very important. When I'm talking about my skin, I pretty much mean acne entirely. And acne runs in my family. Like, it's very much a genetic thing. Just cool, just something we have to deal with. So my acne probably first started when I was about 11 or 12, when I started hitting puberty. And it got quite bad. Not like really red and raw. And they weren't super huge all the time, but there was just a lot, like all in my like T-zone, and I had a lot more on my chest and back as well. That started, and my mum was quite concerned about it because, you know, she had gone through the same thing when she was a teenager and was worried about my sister and I developing scarring. You have some little scars from that kind of time, but not too many, which is great. I was never super self-conscious about it, but it did worry me a bit. You could say I'm addicted to popping pimples, and honestly, it's taken me all of my effort and strength not to pop these. I love it, and it's really bad because, you know, that's what's going to give you the worst scars, and it just makes them worse anyway, so no fun there. Obviously started washing my face, and, you know, it's still kind of there, so I went to my GP. I think I started off on Benzac, I think is what it's called, which is basically just a face wash that has benzoyl something in it. I can't remember what it was. This was when I was probably about 12 or 13. Yeah, started on that, didn't really make a difference. So then I went on to doxycycline. It's basically the next step up that your GP tells you to do. So went on that for a little while, didn't really make any difference. I tried lots of different things, like oh, hello. I made potatoes.
They smell good.
And I made sweet potato soup.
Looks really good. You had a busy morning?
I did. I'm procrastinating.
Is that all it had?
Yeah, I ate a few. I love these.
Decent.
Tastes like potatoes.
I'm Irish.
I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, I tried Proactive for a while, which is so much effort. And at the time, I mean, I was really busy. I was going to school, obviously, I was dancing pretty much every night. I was always dead tired, and then by the time I thought about going to bed, I was like, oh wait, I've got to do all the proactive things, and then you have to do them in the morning, and I've never been very good at getting up. Proactive is just so much to do. So I don't actually know if it could have worked for my skin, because I was never able to do it consistently enough to notice a difference. I tried all these different things, and then eventually got a referral to the dermatologist because my cousin had been on Roaccutane before, and like I said, in the family, so really similar acne, which, you know, up until that point we hadn't heard of it. So it works really, really well for him, which is great. So we went to the dermatologist and we had a chat to him about it, and he decided that yes, I would be a good candidate to go on Roaccutane. It's so controversial, this drug. It's got a really bad rap, which is interesting because, like, I've since tried to do research on why Roaccutane has such a bad rap, and I couldn't find anything. I had someone come up to me when I had just gone on it, and I had spoken to a few people at my dance studio about it, because one of the potential symptoms is that you can get tired, which I didn't experience in the end, but I thought I would let some people know just in case. And I was talking to one of my friends in the foyer about this drug I was on for my skin, and then one of the mums was like, are you on Roaccutane? And I was like, oh yeah, it is Roaccutane. And she said, get off it as soon as you can. My niece went on Roaccutane, and then she got depressed. Didn't have a depressed bone in her body before then, but as soon as she went on that drug, that, like, did it. I mean, how can you know that they don't have a depressed bone in their body? There's literally so many things that could cause it. There's definitely a correlation, but there's no proven causation at this point, which is why Roaccutane gets such a bad rap, because people think that it makes you depressed, which, I mean, we have no proof of that. We just give it to teenagers who are potentially already depressed. There's no real proof to say, well, if there is, please send me a link in the description, because I haven't been able to find any studies that talk about why Roaccutane causes depression. It does have some other side effects, like some of the things I experienced were really dry lips, just while you're on it. I've ended up with dry patches just about here while I was on Roaccutane, and since then. You're also really sensitive to the sun, so you get sunburnt quite easily, which was not new for me. #PaleAF. Those were probably the only symptoms I experienced. Also, a big thing is you can't get pregnant while you're on Roaccutane. So I remember thinking it was really weird, because I was probably 14 when I went on it, and I had to sign a form saying that I wouldn't get pregnant while on it because it can cause some serious birth defects. So I went on that, and Roaccutane is basically just a really high dose of vitamin A, which is like the best thing for your skin. Like, if you want to improve your skin, eat things with vitamin A in it. Can't remember exactly how it works. Diz told me the other day, #scienceboyfriend. But that's the stuff that will improve your collagen. And there's a really fun story of how they discovered that, but that's a story for another time. So I went on Roaccutane. I started off on quite a low dose, and then I switched dermatologists, and he thought that it would be a good idea to up my dose, because, like, I had good acne for a little while, and then it had come back a bit, so I went on a higher dose, completely disappeared. I didn't have a pimple for, I think I was on it for a year and a half. Didn't have anything, went off for a bit, came back, so I went back on it for a little bit longer, and then I went off again, and it didn't come back for about 3 years. I didn't have, I mean, you have the occasional pimple, but pretty much no acne whatsoever. The only stuff I would get sometimes was some pimples here, like behind my ears and under my jaw. I've got 3 years less, like, scars and things like that, just for going on this drug for a year and a half. So it's pretty incredible what it's done. And the only other lasting effect other than having no acne was this a little bit drier skin just on my forehead. That's it. This year, so in the past 10 months, I've started to get a little bit more acne back, which is very different to the acne that I used to have. It's a lot more like, there's a lot more like whiteheads and actual juicy ones, and they show up right here underneath my chin, underneath my ears, and occasionally up here. I'm self-diagnosing, but I am fairly certain it's hormonal because it mainly shows up just before my period, like at the moment, and it pretty much disappears the rest of the month. Also, from my very small amount of research, having acne in these kind of areas is a hormonal thing. I don't think there's an imbalance in my hormones. I just think it's the fact that I menstruate, and that means it's just one of my PMS symptoms. How I deal with that is something that I haven't done a lot of research in, but was recommended to me and I gave it a go and it works quite well for me, was tea tree oil. I just used this one. It was literally just from the supermarket. I just put a Q-tip, dip it in and put it over any pimples. I usually do it before I go to bed, and then by the time I wake up, the pimples tend to just dry out a little bit, and because tea tree is disinfectant, it kind of cleans the area, and because it's quite intense, it will dry it out a little bit. That's my thinking on it. Don't know, haven't done any research into it, but that's what has been working for me. I wash my face once in the morning, just like with a splash of water and nothing else, and then at night with another one that was recommended to me by Mosaics and Moonlight Natural, which I'm using so much of their stuff at the moment. They're so cool. I'm using a little pink Himalayan salt soap thing from them, which I found works really well. I've never really found that particular face washes affect my skin that much, only some that dry it out more than others, but you know, I'm moisturized now, so I haven't really had face washes that make too much of a difference to my skin. The only time that I do notice it, oh my gosh, I am notorious for leaving my makeup on overnight. I'm real bad at it. That, if I do leave quite thick makeup on, that's when I notice, like, I'll get a couple of pimples and things like that, but if I wash it off, then I'm pretty good, which is sweet. Very lucky. At night I'll wash my face with that soap, and I also use this, which is, it's a little bit manky now, but it's a 100% cotton washcloth that I crocheted myself, and it's literally just like a really gentle exfoliator. You just, you know, rub it in circles around your skin. It's good for removing makeup. I just use like soap and water. It takes off everything. I also use it as like a lip scrub to take off any dry skin on my lips. It works really well. Yeah, but you can like buy things like this anywhere. I made that one myself. It works really well, and that's instead of like using cotton pads for like makeup removal, I'll just use this, and you can just wash it and reuse it, and it's great for the environment. And yeah, after I've put tea tree on them, after a few days when they disappeared, it starts to like scab up or whatever, so I put vitamin E oil on it. It's meant for like scar tissue. I'll just use a generic moisturizer. Like I put sunscreen, I have a moisturizer that has SPF that I put on every day, formula 1006, I don't know how they say it. And then at nighttime I'll use just any old moisturizer I've got around, particularly for this little dry bit. I really don't wear much makeup. I mean, I go through different phases. At the moment I'm wearing just that moisturizer and mascara. That's it. If I'm going out, then I'll wear like some foundation. I don't do too much. I kind of can't be bothered, and I'm not very good at it. I think that is all. I would really like to hear about your guys' skin stories and whether you can relate, whether you've tried anything that I've tried and how it was for you. I would love to hear about it. Feel free to comment or message me. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and all that jazz. Let me know if you liked this style of video, a bit more personal about yours truly. You might like it, you might not. Let me know. Also, let me know if you want the recipes for the food that I showed you in the beginning, because they taste amazing. This has already eaten 1 container of the potatoes. That's what you get for having an Irish boyfriend. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.